We're live.
Coming up in this video, what happens after the dark night of the soul? Are you done? Are you actually really done?
I bet you know you're not done. This is episode 5 of our Dark Night of the Soul series. If you guys are new to our channel, consider subscribing.
Click that bell and you'll be good to go.
Ding. We're excited about today because this is the wrap up of the Dark Night of the Soul. If you haven't seen the first 4 episodes, go back and watch them. There's a lot to learn, a lot to absorb.
And all of those links are in the description to go watch the other videos.
Yes. So it seems that before we get into the good stuff, I want to set you up with something. It seems that we are entering an age of purpose. We were talking about this at coffee this morning. There's this trend with more and more people who are searching for purpose, purposeful work, purposeful relationships, porpoises, dolphins. I feel like I should say porpoise.
There's always a purpose for everything. Matter of fact, there was a study done showing that there are 50% more people searching for and reading books with purpose in life, actual term, over the last 4 years than ever before. That's important because in order to get to your purpose, you have to go through a dark night of the soul, and that's what we're covering today.
So, you guys, as you come on, let us know that you can hear us and see us, because we've been on here before just jabbering away, and nobody can, unless you read lips, you don't know what we're saying. So see lots of friends joining us and jumping on. We're excited.
So let us know that you can hear us. Let us know that you can see us. And as you come on, let us know where you're from and what your favorite food is.
Yes.
Because we like food.
We like food, and you get bonus points. I put that in air quotes, meaning good karma credit, because we want to know what the most interesting food choice is, and we're watching. So
yes, we are watching. So let us know that you can hear us and see us. Type it in the comments. Let us know what your favorite food is.
I see Canada is already online.
Canada's in the house.
Canada's
Nancy's
in the house. Chloe's in the house. I see a lot of friends jumping on. You guys, it's so fun to join you guys every week. It's
right.
You don't know, it really is the highlight of our week.
All right, so you guys can see us. Yes, that's good. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Stay with us for the whole video, and we'll help you understand what happens at the end of the Dark Night of the Soul.
And while it's going to be entertaining, because we like to try to entertain you as much as possible, even though sometimes I think we're just entertaining ourselves, the real reason you should stick around is because of the mind-blowing tips that we'll be sharing to take your life from basic to badass in 90 seconds, but only if it fits for you.
And for those of you who don't know us yet, because you've been living under a rock somewhere,
or really drunk last night. I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From
zenrosegarden.com, yes. Helping people create
badass lives. So who are we? Since 2008, we've basically helped thousands of clients. We love it. Go from being overwhelmed, stressed out, and insecure to confident, purposeful, and empowered. And if you have just found us,
congratulations. Stick with us and watch as your insecurities and fears run screaming for the hills, never to bother you again.
Because we're going to scare them for you. That's our job. So through our work with a couple thousand clients or so all over the world since 2008, we noticed this huge gap. And those of you that have been following us know what we love to do in what was being taught by a lot of the influencers in our niche that seemed to be doing the same thing everybody else was doing.
But we are not trying to be the next cookie cutter gurus.
So this is what we noticed, that some people were teaching all the cool intuitive techniques without the wax on, wax off of self-growth to stabilize it.
And others were teaching the self-growth without having any kind of a clue of what to do when people eventually started opening up their intuitive skills.
And we also noticed that among our clients, it was creating problems, and both groups have a ceiling that lacks that integration.
And we bridge that gap, and if you stay to the end, we'll show you why that's important for you.
Exciting. If you guys have any questions as we go, drop them in the comments. Again, we're going to have a lot of information packed in today's lesson.
We're going to have a short Q&A at the end, and if we don't get to your questions live, we will answer any questions on the replay.
Speaking of live, if you're live, give us a hashtag live tribe, so when we go back and look at your questions, we know if you were there live or not.
Because we'll be watching you.
We're watching you now.
We're stalking you. We're always stalking you.
Now. I see who you are.
If you are watching the replay, hashtag replay fam.
And without further ado, it is time for the good stuff. Let us get to it. Okay.
Chloe is down with the fruitcake. And Chelsea says cavatelli, which is homemade pasta with homemade sauce. Damn, I'm
My
hungry
Italian side just popped up.
And Nicole says, looking good, sounding good from Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Awesome.
I love
Nancy
it.
can sear you. There I go with the sear you and hear you.
Like he's a steak. He needs to be seared. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So what does happen after the dark night of the soul? Are you done?
You have experienced some of the deepest, most heart-wrenching pain of your entire existence, and you survived. Congrats. Hashtag WTG, which is way to go.
I didn't know what that meant.
Now life is all sunshine and rainbows, right?
No, we're going to break down what happens after you break through all the darkness and step into that light of your new life, all enlightened and ready to take on the world, unless you're living in Alaska where it's not light outside.
All the time.
All the time.
Not so fast, cowboy. There might be a few things that you need to know for what comes after you emerge from this dark night. So here we go.
Alaskan cowboys out there.
Alaskan cowboys.
Okay, so let's first of all define what union is, because we're on the 5th day of the dark night of the soul. We went through the 2 purges, which you remember, and then the illumination, and now we're finally to union, because the dark night of the soul is 3 parts.
So
3 parts.
So what is this union that we speak of?
So I wasn't done recapping. So the first part of the dark night of the soul is the purge, which is the purge of the senses, purge of the spirit. The next part is the illumination, which we talked about last week, and that's like the courting phase before the union. So we like to go at it from both terms, and let's start with the more religious-y terms, more religious-y description of what is union.
You are rolling with the big guy. This is when you're in that limo, chilling with the bar on the side, chilling with that G-O-D in the back seat.
I'm thinking there's some Biggie Smalls on the radio, like Hypnotized pumping through the back. So leave it to David to blaspheme God. But anyway, you're in the limo. This is basically the consummation of the soul's love for God and God's love for the soul. Okay, so this is the you've had the courting. Now this is the coming together, the union.
Yep. So this is where you start to integrate and merge, and it takes one of 2 forms: either the deification, which is the utter transmutation of the self in God. This is the I am state.
So that's kind of what you more will see happening in more the metaphysical modern spiritual world, where there's that, and kind of old school too, because it just depends on what school you're from, in the spiritual system you're from. But the deification is you kind of merge with it. You become like one. You're like, I'm God. It's the namaste.
I am God. You are God. The God in me sees the God in you,
right.
And we're all chilling in the backseat of a limo.
With Biggie. Or the second form is the spiritual marriage. And this is the spiritual union, the marriage of the soul, the bridal chamber of the heart, with God or the beloved. You've heard that term, the beloved. So it's that marriage. It's not quite the deification where you're kind of merged into one and you realize the namaste is at play.
Right.
This is like that, Yeah,
it's the partnership element, and which form that you experience depends on the type of mystic that you are becoming.
Right. So regardless, it is a union of being one in purpose, one in your mission, one in heart, one in mind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And this is the point where individual selfhood disappears and is replaced by a divine self, totally inspired by the divine and active in service to the divine.
So the result of this, in the religious-y version of it, is you are authentically pulled to return to the world at large, because you've mostly been in isolation. You go to work, I hope, but you're pulled to return to the world to do God's work, however that manifests for you within your system of belief. So that makes sense.
Yep. And we've got Texas in the house as we get into these next ones. So in the metaphysical, existential, or humanistic terms, you are autonomous yet integrated. You are individual and whole. This is where the duality tends to cease to exist and you become the oneness with the universe while experiencing your own individuality.
So here you're autonomous. This is the metaphysical.
Automatons attack.
This is the non-religious-y version of the union at the end. So you are autonomous, yet you are thinking not only for yourself alone, but for the community in balance. So you're thinking for the community. As my friend Crystal Fuentes, the ladies coach, I love how she says that. I use it all the time. I stole it from her. You are thinking for the community as well as yourself.
But you haven't lost yourself in the community. Right. So you are one and both. So you express your new autonomous personality with energy through action, art, and social change.
So here, in this phase, there's true unity consciousness, which we throw that term around, but do we really know what it means, right? We don't really talk about it a lot. So there's true unity consciousness, community conscientiousness, and active self-love. So it's all in balance.
Yep. And the result is you get to experience being drawn to do the work in the world for the greater good and for your personal selfish fulfillment, not just as a do-gooder who is lost in doing so much good that you forget who you are.
So raise your hand if you understand what I am saying when I mean a do-gooder, or someone that is drawn to do work in the world for the greater good and your fulfillment. There's a difference. It's a subtle difference, but it's really important. The do-gooder is kind of like, I have to do good to get karma points. So,
I've got to do good to be good.
Right.
Stop doing that.
That's a codependent relationship with
the do-good.
The
do-gooding.
The do-goodingness.
Yes. What is up to Sylvia from Brooklyn? We've got Houston, Texas in the house.
My family is from Houston, Texas, by the way.
Nicole Flossie in Bruny Island, Tasmania. I think that's New Zealand.
Okay, Nicole, raise your hand. Right. Yeah, that it's a subtle one, but I want you guys to know the difference, because being the do-gooder can get you in a real codependent relationship with what is, good on paper, but not good for your soul. So doing good from the right place is really important. So,
and then Chelsea says, laughing my ass off, Transformers. It's literally what we do as part of the Zen Ed Academy. You are awesome, Chelsea. You absolutely rock.
So, okay. I want to check in with you guys. Also remind you guys, we dropped it before. We've got a course on spiritual awakening, talking to Zen Ed Academy, to help you get to your spiritual union. You guys that are in Zen Ed Academy have already taken it. I hope you guys go check that out. We go a little bit deeper there.
And we'll get into more of that at the end, but we want to know how we're doing so far. If everything is making sense and you can still hear us and see us, let us know in the comments. Vanessa says, hey guys, finally got alive. Yes, absolutely great to see you. We got Nicole raising her hand, Tho.
51560.
And Flossie. Flossie, it is so good to see you again. And Sylvia, new to us, very, 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 very nice to connect with you. And
let's get into it.
We just love all kinds of crazy shit.
Let's get into it. So it's really
Tanya is finally making it.
Here.
Tanya, yep.
You must hear from the South because you're saying, hey y'all, sorry I'm late. So
and
if you're not from the
says,
South,
hashtag killing it.
Killing it. Okay, so it is really hard to describe to you. Now that I've described what union is from both the religious perspective and the humanistic perspective, it is really hard to describe to you individually, all you Zen heads out there, what you will be doing in that union stage, as it is a highly individual path.
However, there are 5 definable archetypes that emerge in a very strong way when you are actively living in the union stage.
Okay, so keep in mind that these 5 archetypes may be alive and active in you right now. You're going to recognize them as we talk about them. What is notable in the union phase of the Dark Night,
or union state,
the
state of the union,
is that they are all active in a healthy way together in a dance, not just one or two taking the lead. Okay, that makes sense?
There's 2 people. They both take the lead. You can't. Okay. Nicole says, I love that Flossie is from the future. Absolutely. And Virgo, thanks for joining us. First time catching you live. Welcome. And once again, let us know how blown your mind is by all this shit so far. I said shit.
I have my fan in case David needs a timeout. Okay, so
David doesn't need a timeout. David needs a wine out.
You know why now?
Why?
I do. Well, like a long way to the weekend. So archetype number one that is going to be at play
Numero uno.
in your psyche in this dance together is the master healer. Okay, not just the healer,
The master healer
Okay.
of the universe.
Of the universe. So just because you have been through the ringer, okay, doesn't mean you get to stop doing the laundry. Okay.
Right. However, the way that you heal and the way that you process is going to look a little different than it did in that dark period of healing.
Okay, so first, two parts here. First, I want raise of hands on this one.
Yes,
I expect every hand to go up
all the hands
for this first one. First, you might along your way find that you continue releasing people that no longer fit your evolving paradigm.
And they may just up and leave because you're no longer wallowing in this proverbial mud with them.
Or you may walk away because they are just way more toxic than you originally thought. Oh, hand. You've been releasing people all along through the dark night of the soul and through your spiritual.
But this is where it intensifies intentionally.
Because remember, the dark night of the soul, this whole three-part process we've been talking about, starts with the awakening. So the awakening is the thing that kicks it off.
Yeah.
So the awakening is happy, it's pleasant, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm alive with all of this stuff. Then you got to start digging deep.
And don't forget to go and watch the videos on awakening and the videos on the illumination, because those kind of fill in more of the gaps. I'm seeing a hell of a lot.
And I think
boom.
the thing is, you're a master healer because you're like, here we go again. Missy thing just dropped out of my life because she thinks I'm crazy.
Thank God, Missy.
But that's
peace.
Okay. I dodged
and if
a
your
bullet.
name's Missy,
sorry, Missy.
No offense.
I dodged a bullet. Okay, so by this time, though, you've already released several people, either because they just left or you just kind of drifted apart because you're evolving.
The upside here is that you're going to start to find more people that do resonate with you along your way as you make more room by dropping off the dead flies.
So where it's kind of been lonely, like where are my people at? I'm losing all of these people that I don't feel anymore.
When you get to the back of the limo, you get to pick up the right people.
Yeah. So now you're in the limo, right? And there's like it's a big limo back there, and there's a lot more people. I'm just waiting for the the beatbox to stop. So there's a lot more people in the limo. There's a lot more people in the limo than you thought.
Right.
That are vibing with you. So that's the upside. And you've already done this releasing for a while. So just kind of like brush the shoulders up or fine. Okay.
Yep. So second, there may be a little revisiting of pain as more layers come up, but now you are a boss at this. You are a master healer and know how to get through this stuff a lot easier because now you're a pro.
You took my shoulder brush. See, he brushed his shoulders off a lot better because he's way more hood than me. So,
so hood.
So he's from Sacramento, So
actually,
as we
area.
Whatever.
Get straight
Stuff in the hood. So as we grow in the healing process, we swing back and forth between balance and
that makes everybody a swinger
and imbalance. So let me repeat that. So as we grow, we swing back and forth between balance and imbalance. And every time a cycle is completed, another stage is achieved. The good thing about this
is that each stage integrates all aspects of the previous stages so that development becomes cumulative.
Right.
Okay, the work that you've put in starts to stack and build on each other. So you've got momentous growth because you're a freaking master healer, man.
It's like compound interest. Okay, so then we experience longer stages of positive balance where we take action, because healing and growth, after you get through this like really hard period, it's cyclical, and you go, oh, there's a little bump, got to smooth that out. There's a little bump, you got to smooth that out, and you keep getting
better and better, stronger and stronger, smoother and smoother.
That's right.
You get smoother. So as a part of Xanad Academy, we've got our self-love blueprint that helps you to be the best healer, to step into the mastery of healer and the mastery of healing, and putting your self-healing first so that you can be a greater healer with greater impact to the world. We'll get into that more at the end, but we want to know if you are experiencing some mind-blown moments already. Let us know in the comments with a raise of hands.
Or a truth bomb. I haven't seen a truth
bombs.
bomb drop for a while.
Dude, we haven't done
truth
bomb in a while. Drop a truth bomb in the comments if this is resonating and what most significantly is your particular truth bomb?
So
what has hit you hardest the most?
I like the fact that the archetype, this first archetype we talked about, is the master healer, because we train a lot of healers, and one of the biggest issues with healers is that they have a hard time healing for other people. It's they take on other people's stuff as their own.
So they kind of neglect their own healing on the way.
Right, and that's not very helpful.
That's codependent.
You can get the pipes can get clogged up because that's what I mean by that do-gooder versus the person who's doing good in the world in a healthy way, but still having their own fulfillment.
And Adrian says, I've experienced this several times in life. LOL Bay Area #thug life.
Yeah,
Adrian, you're amazing.
So let's talk about archetype number 2. Thank you for that truth bomb, Chelsea from Canada, because this is the Chelsea Marchand gallery, by the way.
Yeah, the art gallery behind us.
So archetype number 2 is the anarchist.
And
weren't expecting that.
So welcome, Casey. Before we get into the anarchist, welcome, Casey. And first time tuning in. I love so many first timers coming in. You guys literally have found a pot of gold, and I'm just tooting my own horn because we're fucking awesome.
Congratulations on busting your ZRG cherry. So so archetype number 2, speaking of busting cherries, is the anarchist. Okay.
You've now achieved a comfortable freedom from the norm and what is acceptable according to these socialized institutions that you were once a part of.
So you now have that comfortable freedom.
Yep.
Okay. From the norm. I'm going to repeat that. And what was acceptable according to the socialized institution you were once a part of.
Gets shattered, broken apart, and you get freedom.
You're not afraid to break the rules now.
If you have chosen to remain a part of your prior socialized institutions, such as maybe religion or area of society, maybe the Relief Society, whatever you want to call it, where you may find yourself in the position of a teacher or advocate that challenges the norm in order to improve the system. So this is, again, if you have chosen to remain within these social constructs or these socialized institutions.
So let me clarify that, because that's what can be a little confusing. If you have chosen, sometimes when we go through our Dark Night of Soul, we break completely with whatever system that wasn't resonating with us. But there may be a system that we're a part of, like it could be a religion, or it could be your book club, or whatever it is,
or your cake baking society,
or your political party, whatever it is. But you may see that there needs to be some change, and you can be the advocate for the change. You may say that, well, the foundation of it isn't completely rotten, but it's gotten corrupt, and I want to be an advocate for change. So that's what happens. In that case, you may stay to improve the system.
And as the anarchist, you're
anarchist.
As the anarchist, you are not just poking the tiger to cause problems and rebel. You see where there is a problem. You now have a wider capacity to observe and reconcile any internal conflicts. Because you're a master healer, archetype is activated, and you can now act in a healthy way.
See how you've got the master healer and the anarchist have to work together?
Yep.
You got one. See how it's starting to make sense, how they all play together and dance together? It's cool, right?
And so Chelsea says, most shocking cherry I've popped ever. Cakes for a cause. And then Adrian says, you really have, these two are epic.
So let's do PG-13. Make sure we don't go too far. Otherwise YouTube will slap our wrist or something. So you do this now with confidence because you have overcome the fear of judgment, abandonment, and rejection.
The triad of fears.
So let's talk about that. You can't be rejected now because you now operate from your own personal hierarchy of values that you kind of put together in that illumination phase.
And you can't be abandoned anymore because you have now become your own BFF, and the universe has got you.
I have you.
I have you.
You can't be judged either because decaf. But really, you know that you are not for everyone. Like, I know I'm not for everybody. I know my exes go screaming. And they get to have their own opinions.
So to sum it up, the individual now acts because it is right, not to avoid punishment.
Viva la revolution. I just feel like I should say that.
You should.
I should put it. It's like the wrong side of the fan. I showed you the back. Okay, so let's check in, guys. How's everybody doing?
So in Zen Academy, we've got a course that connects your higher self and higher purpose so that you can feel more aligned and unified. And again, more on that at the end. We want to know if this is helpful for you so far.
Do you guys understand our archetype number 2? Does that make sense?
Let us know if you've got any questions as we go through this. Drop them in the comments. We want to know right now, how many aha moments, how many truth bomb moments have you racked up so far? Let us know in the comments.
5.
5? Okay. All right.
I'm just doing. I am that.
Damn YouTube, let me be saucy. Okay, Chelsea.
You know what? You can be saucy all you want, Chelsea. So let's I can't find my truth bomb, but epic that last one. Okay. Just
Boom.
a TB will do, even though I think that's a disease. So let's move on
Okay, Yeppers, love it. Damn YouTube. Yes, it is striking true. Can't find the truth bomb, but epic on that last one.
Let's do archetype number 3.
All right. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. We love more than I can count at the moment. Flossie, you're amazing.
We love making you lose count. That's
you're amazing.
We've done our job.
Yeah.
So archetype number 3 is the humanitarian. Okay.
And it may seem like this archetype is in some kind of cognitive dissonance with your anarchist, but is not true. Do not believe the hype.
So this is 2 parts. I don't know what accent that was.
I don't
so
either.
you recognize it's like gangster meets like alien midget. I don't know, but so you recognize as the humanitarian, as
gangster, alien. Give me my moment. Okay. GAM, gangster, alien, midget. If you know what that means, let me know in the comments because I don't.
So archetype number 3, the humanitarian.
Yes.
It's 2 parts really. You recognize true external universal ethical principles, and you allow those to guide your actions.
Your behavior is also guided by conscious, carefully weighed decisions, like on that triple beam, based on your internal chosen hierarchy of personal values. This in here, not this out here, that dictates how you show up to the world and what is important and significant to you in the world.
So now, because you've got your anarchist at play, you've got your humanitarian, your master healer, you've got everybody's in balance, that external, you're recognizing what are the true external values that are outside of yourself, because they're there. That's how we kind of know what we want inside, right? And so they're becoming more purified. Your internal values are matching the external values. You're choosing the ones that match your chosen internal values.
Yep.
I hope that makes sense.
So your behavior now conforms to this new internal standard of how life ought to be lived. And so very little inner conflict arises. Okay. These are your homies working together. They're partnering. They're riding on,
you know who you are.
Bows.
That's basically it. You know who you are. Like David totally knows who he is. Some days I don't, but that's okay. It's not my job.
She's not supposed to know who I am. I'm down with me.
That's right. He's down with the DAC.
I'm down with the DAC.
So
that's right.
Also you see.
High five on that one.
His middle name's Anthony, by the way. So also you see laws and rules. As a humanitarian, you observe these laws and rules as valid out in a societal construct only if they are grounded in justice and right.
So if they are not grounded in justice in this internal system that you've got, then you're not afraid to challenge them for the good of the community.
And that's when you call the anarchist and be like, can we have a meeting?
Ready to roll.
Can we, yeah. So anyway.
Gangsters can be anarchists too, I'm just saying.
It's true. So the person in union imagines, this is another characteristic of the humanitarian.
Yes.
The person who's in union, who's the humanitarian archetype is at play, they imagine what they would do in someone else's shoes. They imagine what if they believed what the other person imagines to be true. So you're putting yourself in other people's shoes. And even though their actions may not be what you would do, you understand why they do it.
Right.
You're like, I get it based on what they believe. That's their truth. Yep. And they're operating from their truth. It's just not my truth. And it's okay.
And the ego now shows wisdom and empathy to self and others. And when we're talking about ego, we're talking about your personality, your human personality, and how it shows up in the world is healed. The healed ego now shows us wisdom and empathy.
So I hope that makes sense.
Now we're going to get on to archetype number 4, the sensualist.
You aren't expecting some of these archetypes, are you? But they work in the union. So all of the work that you're doing in your master healer work and your humanitarian work and your anarchist who's like, let's make some social change, is not going to be in balance if you are not truly in total union.
So when the sensualist is activated, your feeling and thinking are integrated in a really lovely way. It's lovely, darling.
So for the religious person, this means a more feeling, ecstatic integration with the divine, not just this intellectual idea of the divine it's amazing, I'm awestruck by it. It's this ecstatic internal feeling, thinking that sort of combines together. It's like after electroshock therapy. I don't know. What's a good, I don't know.
Electroshock therapy, you feel amazing.
That's like not exactly the analogy I was trying to.
I feel amazing after
a great therapy. It's like having the best Reiki session you've ever had, but like it stays, right? Okay.
The most amazing sex in the world. I'm
okay,
just going to
there
say.
You go.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Number 4 is the sensualist.
Yes.
Okay, just to clarify for Vanessa, number 4 is the sensualist.
Right.
So for the more existentialist type person, this may mean observing the irony of the fact that autonomy has its limits, because emotional interdependence is, after all is said and done, a needed part of living. And quite frankly, a yummy part of life. You can only be individual for so long.
So here's the thing: you've come through the dark night of the soul, which is a really, really it's lonely.
Oh,
Wait,
what are we talking about?
The dark night of the soul.
Oh, we're talking about what happens after. I'm talking about what happens after.
Okay,
she's talking about the painful part.
Let's be on the same page, David. So you've just come through the dark night of the soul, which is for the most part an isolated event. You may be out living in the world, but you're really emotionally isolated from the world and trying to sort out who you are.
Cut off and shut off to find out who you are.
So now the sensualist is awakening, and it integrates in life in a different way. So you've spent all that time going, your love should come from within. You don't need it from others. But then you realize that the irony is there is this healthy emotional interdependence we have with each other.
Which is much different than codependence.
Right. So now you've gotten to emotional interdependence in a healthy way, not emotional codependence.
More like interconnection, I'd say.
Right. So before your dark night of soul, you were probably massively codependent in some way. Right. And so now you're realizing, after you've isolated, you've purified, you've cut yourself off, and you're learning to be your own light, that you're like, oh, but I really love that connection.
Yes. And when you get to this point where the sensualist starts to activate or becomes activated through the union, where all of these parts of yourself become activated through the union, self-fulfillment can be just as important as more important at times than achievement, although it does not fully replace achievement and may even integrate with achievement. So the achievement that you experience brings with it self-fulfillment. So you're fulfilled in the achieving of the goals and the things that you want to do in life.
So you're not achieving to be achieving for accolades and boosting your ego. You're achieving for self-fulfillment. So it becomes kind of more integrated.
Right. So you're not caught on the drug of achievement. So
the sensualist archetype is you are now cherishing your individuality. There's the self-loathing is gone. You're like really like, wow, I'm kind of cool. I didn't know I was this cool. I'm like really liking that I'm individual.
Going from self-loathing to self-loving.
Right. So you've got this fully worked out self-identity that is super unique, and this deep self-love that you didn't have before the dark night of the soul. So
it's healthy, whole, and complete at this point.
Right. So you're also going to experience this merging with the world and engaging in the flow of things. If you were a person that before the dark night or sometime during this dark night or most of the dark night was like, I don't belong here. I'm not supposed to be here. I hate this planet. I hate all the people. It's all evil.
It's not really. That's just your thought.
When you get through the dark night and through illumination and union, you're like, oh, but the world is really a beautiful, lovely place. I want to merge with it. I want to engage with the flow of life. And I want to, I'm here. Let's make the most of this vacation. I paid for this vacation. I'm gonna like go experience the buffet every day.
And you've got this playful alternating between serious and silliness, or maybe even triviality.
Kind of like what it's like to live with David, because he goes like,
I'm always serious.
So to sum up, there's full acceptance of the differences and people as they are. So
this is where your inner hippie comes out to play.
Right. So that is the sensualist archetype number 4.
Yep.
I love that, guys. Okay. Speaking of the senses.
As a part of Zen Ed Academy, we have a psychic senses course that can help you to connect more deeply to all of your senses so that you can experience more of the world in a bigger, brighter fashion. So we want to know right now if you guys want more. Do you want more mind-blowing moments?
He's pumping the crowd, man.
I am.
I want to know if you want to experience more of the sensualist archetype in your life.
Raise your hands.
So here's why I say you may be experiencing these archetypes in your life, but they're maybe not all in the symphony of the 5 together.
Yep.
Because the sensualist can run amok without the humanitarian. The sensualist can run amok without the balance of the humanitarian and the master healer, right?
Yep.
And you're like, snorting coke in a Vegas bathroom with some hookers. So that's what I'm talking about.
You talking about hookers?
Yeah, I was just talking about hookers.
So yeah, and the anarchist can go completely hog wild and reject everything, because the anarchist is only looking for themselves if it's not in balance with these other parts of the archetypes.
And this is lovely. Nicole asked, when you join Zen Ed Academy, do you get access to all the courses? Yes. And we give them for the first time live in Zen Ed. And then you have access to all the replays, all the courses we've ever done in there. It's kind of the best deal of your life. And that's kind of our clubhouse.
Yeah. So, and we'll get to that more in the end. Yes. Thank you, Nicole, for bringing that up. So next we're going to get into archetype number 5, and this is the visionary artist.
This is for you, Chelsea Marchand.
And for those of you who don't think you're an artist, think again.
You are the artist of your life, as I like to say. Everyone is an artist. I had a friend that used to say, I don't have a creative bone in my body, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you are supposed to be the artist of your life. Yep. You're the only one that can paint that canvas.
Here's the thing, especially when you're talking about creating problems in your life, creating drama in your life.
You're a creator.
You're a creator. Okay, so when you get to the dark night of the soul, you have created this intense disconnection from everything around you as you re-envision yourself. Think about that for a minute.
So with your visionary artist activated, you have this intermingling of different states of consciousness, right? Because artists are playing in that field all the time to get their inspiration, and your imagination opens up.
And Einstein actually did say that imagination is more important than knowledge.
Because knowledge can be static, but imagination is limitless.
So people at this stage are synthesizers.
Not like keyboards, but like synthesize. They synthesize.
They synthesize and can conceptually integrate abstract ideas. And here's why. Because you are accessing more of your brain power, including your subconscious mind, which deals in the abstract and the ability to tie it all together. That's your bigger part of the brain. And when it starts working together, sky's the limit. You can create anything you want.
Your brain pipes have been cleaned out over all your purging.
Your brain pipes. I love that.
Exactly. So there's people at this stage, like David said, are conceptual. They're able to like take on more abstract ideas. And there's this increase in creative expression and problem solving.
Absolutely.
Like all the problems you couldn't solve before seem to be like really easy. You're like, why didn't I just see that solution? It was right
10
in front
years
of me.
ago when I was going through my dark night. How come I couldn't see it? Because you were in the dark. Stop it. Get out of the dark.
So how are you using this new personal creativity? So your talents
and your creativity are applied in the service of your personal higher individual values and visions of how life could be and how it ought to be, not only just for you, but also for the greater good of the community. Again, like Crystal Fuentes says, thinking for the community.
That's great. So you are now expressing a vision that is unrestrained by convention. Okay.
The unattainable is not considered impossible any longer. And the visionary finds ways to show how the impossible can be accomplished to others. It's possible. Make it happen.
Raise your hand if you remember Kim Possible.
Anybody remember Kim Possible?
Are you like that age where you
watched that age?
Kim Possible? Like I wasn't. My kids. I'm older than that. But my kids watched Kim Possible
by default, by association.
I watched it.
She's young enough.
Raise your hand if you love Kim Possible, because she was cool. She was like the first super chick. Yeah.
And Hillary says, I love the chakra course. Yes, the chakra course is definitely one of those things that's included with Zen Academy. We'll get to that at the end. Cassidy says, every word is inspiring. Yes. Welcome, Cassidy. Great to see you here. Okay, so this is also where advances in society through politics, philosophy, and religion happen.
So as the visionary artist, you are taking a chance that people are going to think you cray, but that's okay, because going back to step number whatever, you don't care anymore.
Decaf.
Like, I just invented the radio. You can throw me in the crazy nut house if you want, but I know that everybody's going to have a radio in their house in 100 years.
Tanya says Kim Possible was the best.
Right?
Oh boy.
Loved her. Guys,
okay.
This has been really fun today.
Chelsea, I'm actually going to save your question for the end because it's a great question. Okay. So I'll save that one for the Q&A at the end. Mm-hmm. All right. So finding your life purpose and passion is another course that we have in Zen Academy, where when you're ready to bring your visionary art to living color. Anybody remember In Living Color?
Yes.
In Living Color, raise your hand.
You guys know J-Lo was a fly girl, right?
J-Lo was a fly. She was so fly.
She was fly.
In living color, full HD, 4K, IMAX awesomeness. This is where you get to bring that visionary art to life. So if you're ready to sum it all up, hit that like button, show us some love, give us some hearts, and let's get this going. This is where we get to be needy bitches. Give us all of the love, all of the likes. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe. Come on, do it. Give us all the loves. Give us the hearts. We want to see them. We want to see them alive.
I'm just giving him the full runway.
Thank you.
2 snaps. Oh, yes.
Oh, all the hearts. 2 snaps.
2 snaps, a twist and a kiss. Yes. Men on film.
Color.
Okay.
All righty. So happy to be here. Welcome, Cassie. So happy to have you here. Rose says, Rose of Sharon, there's an excellent book by Elizabeth Gilbert talking about how artists shouldn't be thought of as tortured and whatnot. Creativity should be an act of joy.
So I need to whip the fan out here. Let me make sure the pretty side's
pretty side. Do the pretty side.
Okay, so I have an issue. Chelsea, please back me up on this. Artists can have their emotional shit just like everybody else.
Yep.
Because I got my first degree in art. I have my first bachelor's in art was before I did this stuff. But the thing is, the tortured artist is such a bad paradigm because I don't know, it's just bad. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think you need to be tortured to be a good artist. Like, I think you can process your emotional stuff on canvas and it's beautiful to get that out. It's cathartic. But I think that whole tortured artist paradigm, anyway, I'm done with my
I'm not
You're not done? Okay.
Because how the hell are you going to make money and survive if you are locking yourself in a dungeon?
I've seen a lot of really great. I've seen a lot of really great artists who grab onto that torture thing, that believe that they need to be tortured in order to be prolific and good, but they also block their abundance.
And so, on that note, while everybody is continuing to hit the like button, I'm a needy greedy bitch right now. Hit the like button. While everybody's doing that, I'm gonna go off on a side tangent right now about the issue with codependency in BDSM lifestyle. Okay?
How do we go from art to BDSM? That's what I want to know.
Because getting caught in a dungeon, if you're caught up on your fetish that you never work through, then you're not doing any kind of growth, and it's not a helpful endeavor.
Okay,
The
so
same
you're
thing
right.
with art. If you're going, and this goes into the tortured artist, if you're going through and throwing art on the canvas, did you make all the art in your videos? It's gorgeous. Cassidy, no, that is actually, most of this art is from Chelsea Marchand, who's one of our Zen heads. She's amazing.
And the rose in
This
the
one
middle,
in the middle
was a gift from my friend Lisa Mack, a really good friend of mine who who was there when I went through one of my dark nights of the soul, my big one, and gave that to me and said, "You are this rose." I never talk about it, but it's very special. It's very special to me because when I came out of my big dark night of the soul, the 2-year period where I lost my voice to spasmodic dysphonia, couldn't speak, which is it's not totally incurable, they will tell you, but that's another rant. She gave me this rose and said, "Now you are blooming like a rose. You are out of your dark night of the soul."
Yep.
So that symbolizes the birth for me.
She is blooming like a rose in the desert.
And also the reason why we're called Zen Rose Garden.
True.
So
this is actually the inspiration for our name.
Yep.
This was the thing that we were kind of meditating on that sparked the name during a crazy wild experience.
So
totally sober, by the way.
Were we? So now it's time for, we're going to give you a bonus tip.
Now it's time for that bonus tip.
This bonus tip is a little nerdy because you know how we like to get nerdy and brainiac on you guys. But this is
brought to you by the phenomenology.
Phenomenology. Okay, that's a big old word. Phenomenology. It's the phenomenology of spirit. The phenomenology of spirit. Say that really fast. Okay, it's an actual word. You can Google it. But
now it's time to get into the nerdy stuff.
So Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, he's German, lived from 1770 to 1831. He was a German idealist, a philosopher, and something of a religious psychologist and a code cracker. And you know how we love code crackers.
So he described in his book, The Phenomenology of Spirit, how all systems of religion, philosophy, and social science are expressions of the basic urge of consciousness to learn about itself and its surroundings, and then record various experiences and reflections about that.
So Hegel postulated, I love using that word because it sounds so smart, right?
Hegel.
Just use postulated in a sentence and I'm so excited. Okay, so Hegel postulated that that means thought really deeply about.
That means we're going to go.
That this activity
on a date later
of recording your experiences in the spiritual realm, the phenomenon of spirit, which is the phenomenology of spirit, is the functioning of an incomplete group mind. Now think about that. This whole process of us figuring out all these things is the result of an incomplete group mind. Okay, he lived in the 1700s, guys, thinking about this stuff.
So this also goes into the mind itself searches and seeks for closure and completion. Okay, so when you've got an incomplete group mind, what is it doing?
So he kind of postulated that we as humans have an incomplete group mind. We're somehow separated from each other's minds, and we're always seeking a way to reconnect that. But we have to go through struggle. So this is where each person is accessing the recorded wisdom of other people to resolve that struggle of the self and community, to understand itself and its function, and to be able to correctly govern itself in a healthy way, and not only individually, but as a community.
And align itself individually and with the community to see where it fits. And when you look at this from a cellular level, it's the same thing with the cell as it gets developed, trying to figure out what its place is in the body.
So that's kind of the nerdy, you might have to, that's a little bit of a nerdy thing.
You may have to go back and replay it a couple times or Google some more shit on that.
But basically, it's to figure out how we can all think together in a more unified way, yet still maintain our individual function and not be a hot freaking mess. That's basically what I just said.
That's it.
Okay.
So we've also got another course, Reclaiming Your Personal Power. And when you're ready to take back anything that's been taken from you so that you can do more with your energy and become more of an impact in the world, that would be a perfect place to get started.
So if you guys are ready to be done with the Dark Knight and on to Union, looking forward to that Union phase and activating those 5 archetypes a little bit more colorfully. Let us know in the comments.
Raise your hands. Raise your hands up.
Give us a
Put
balloon.
your hands up. Put your hands up.
This is where we pause for David's music video.
It's a runway. I blocked that so good.
I'm going to get him his own runway.
Tanya says, love the nerdy.
I do too. I love the nerdy. Akashic Records. Yeah. Nancy hates Akashic Records. That's kind of the concept that he was playing with. Sort of the concept, the recorded wisdom. And Carl Jung took it a little bit further with the collective unconscious.
Yep.
We're always seeking like where to plug in. And we create constructs around it. And that's kind of where religions come from. So now it's time
with the shaka. You're awesome.
Now it is time for some questions.
All right, so let's go back to So this is a perfect time to drop any questions that have been triggered through this whole video. Drop them in the comments now, and if we don't get to them live, we will get to them on the replay. Chelsea says, how often is it normal to go through these dark nights?
Okay, usually you're going to go through a few, maybe one big significant one in your life, but you can go through several little ones in your life. If it's like an ongoing thing where you never get out, it can be, you can be confusing chronic depression with a dark night. So we talked about that in the first episode. So Dark Night of the Soul has certain characteristics. It's you can be depressed and be experiencing chronic depression during a Dark Night of the Soul, but if it's an ongoing depression
issue,
on its own without the other elements of the Dark Night of the Soul, then it's just depression. So
don't make Dark Night an excuse for your depression. I'm just saying.
Well, but sometimes people confuse, I'm going through this Dark Night of the Soul
when it's really just depression.
And I honestly think St. John of the Cross was chronically depressed because he kind of wrote that he never got out of the Dark Night of the Soul.
And if you want to know more about St. John of the Cross, go to the first video. We went into that in more detail. And while we wait for more of these questions to come in, drop your questions, by the way. That's a cue. Drop your questions in the comments. While we wait for those to come in, we wanted to share what one of our Zen heads recently shared with us about their experience.
So I want to give a shout out to one of our Zen heads, Tara. She calls us her go-to gurus. I'm like a little embarrassed.
How
kind of cute.
Sweet. Thank you, Tara. That is awesome. She says, the best time and money I can spend clarifying my purpose and intent, Heather and David always facilitate the transformation I am looking for. I have done this work for years and don't actually believe in gurus, just great people who do stellar work with exceptional skill. That is Zen Rose for me.
That's so cool, Tara. Thank you.
What I love on top of that is that Sharon, or Rose of Sharon, says that's stellar. She had no idea that this was coming up and used the same word.
Oh my gosh. She's Rose of Sharon says, I'm overcoming a dark night. It's taken 2 years since my dad died, but I know I am not truly alone. Yes. Mine was a 2-year process because that's when I was diagnosed with my speaking disorder. And I was like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to find a cure. And I did all my healing work. And if you've known us for a while, you kind of know that story. It's way too long to go into here, but it's one of the main reasons I do what I do.
So Rose says, I'm overcoming dark night, taken 2 years since my dad died, but I know I am not truly alone. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you get to that point. That's kind of the point where you have broken through the dark night is when you know that you're not alone. While you're in it, you do believe it like you're alone. Shujin says, you guys are my senpais.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think it means like sensei. I believe.
I like it. So Tanya,
my Japanese is rusty.
You don't have any Japanese Asian, except for kompai.
My Asian in general, kompai. Kompai, yes.
My sake. So Tanya in Facebook land over here says, I've had a few small ones. It's amazing how much growth I experience afterwards. Yet you can have little mini ones.
And it's cyclical. All healing is cyclical. So you'll go into something that would have been a dark night, but you won't go as deep into it and feel the loneliness that's accompanied with the dark night.
Because now you're a master healer. If you've gone through the first one, you can kick ass.
On the second and third.
And it's going to suck a little bit, but you're just going to be like pulling your big girl roots and you're fine. Chelsea says, I feel like I've had several minis, maybe then huge shifts and after huge bouts of mental anguish. And it sounds like you're doing the dark night right.
Yeah, you are doing the Dark Knight right. So, Shujin, let us know what senpai actually means so I don't have to Google it. Save me the time and trouble.
We can Google it.
No, please let me know. I want to hear from you what senpais means to you.
I think that's cool. Okay, so you guys keep dropping your questions, even if you're not live. We'd love to get to them later because it gives us ideas for what you guys need in the future for videos. Speaking of sushi, we have learned that self-growth and developing your intuition for a badass life go together like sushi and Sapporo and sake.
And sake, yes.
And sake bombs.
You could keep going around in circles, watching all of those other people doing the same thing everyone else is doing over and over and over again.
Or just jump into our brains and plug directly into all the unique shortcuts, signature mind hacks, and emotional ninja skills that we have pretty much developed.
And that has worked for thousands of our clients to step into their confidence, self-love, and personal power so that they can trust themselves to live their purpose completely.
Plus, you need more of our smartasserness in your life. So smartassiness, is that a word?
Now it's time to share the secret weapon to take your life from basic to badass in 90 seconds.
Because 90 seconds is all it takes to make a decision. Unless I am in MAC Cosmetics, then it takes me a lot longer.
No, it doesn't.
You're right. So what are you going to do? Keep doing it your way or come join us, please.
And either way is wonderful. We think you're awesome. We know that you're awesome. So it doesn't matter whether you join or not. The choice is yours.
So what do you need to get started?
So you can click the link in the description, sign up, and within minutes, you can start with the Self-Love Blueprint.
It's a good one.
Great course to get started with. Plus, access our exclusive Facebook group where all the Zen heads hang out with us live twice a week as we record all of the courses that all of the Zen heads get access to.
So come join Zen Ed Academy if you're ready to take your skills to the next level. This is our baby. This is where we hang out. This is our clubhouse.
If you are ready to take your skills to the next level and can handle more brain juice in your dome piece.
His dome piece.
Zen Ed Academy is where we jack you into the ZRG mainframe.
We have one of those.
So you can break your bad habits and build better trust in your magical awesomeness.
So this will work for you even if you are allergic to fairy dust and just want real information without all the unicorn poop that we hate trudging through.
Yep. Even if you've never had any real training before, or you think you know all this stuff and just need a refresh.
And even if you have been misled by all those cookie baking copycats and are a little salty.
Or you're a boss in a totally different niche and just want the edge.
Like we said before, you get all of our unique insights to blend your own self-growth, self-directed path, and all the intuitive development with all the courses, past, present, and future. And we create a new course in there pretty much monthly, and we're on there twice a week giving lives.
New lessons twice a week. Only if it's right for you, come join our inner circle and start living in your power right now. All of the info is down below.
So if you liked this video, guys, hit the like button.
Hit it hard. If this video helped you in any way, share it with a friend, but don't be abusive. Don't hit that button too hard. That would be abuse.
So if you guys have questions, as we said, put them in the comments. We would love to hear from you. That feeds our
ego. No, it feeds our content machine.
Yes.
So for more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe, guys.
And click the bell to turn notifications on.
So you are the first to know
when we drop a new video
or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. And the fact that you've chosen to spend that time with us through this whole time, honor and appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us, watching, and staying to the end. And
we're going to see you in the next video. Go get your sake. Go do it.